Well, hello everybody. It's been a long time since I've made a video. I believe it's been a little over a month at the very least. And things haven't been going too quickly as usual, unfortunately. But, however, I do have a little bit to talk about, so I think I'll go ahead and give you some updates on that. Alright, so, generally over here, my setup hasn't changed a whole lot. These desktops are sitting in the exact same position like a month and a half ago. Most of the stuff is exactly the same as it has been for quite some time, but I have acquired a few things here and there that I think are worth mentioning. So, firstly, about 2 weeks ago, a family friend of mine gave me this computer. It's a Dell Dimension 4600. It's got 2.8 gigahertz Pentium 4 with 1 megabyte L2 cache. Pretty sure it's socket 478, if my memory serves me properly. It's got 4 memory slots, 2 are filled. It's got two 256 megabyte chips of DDR333 MHz memories for a total of 512, which I'm planning on upgrading to at least a gigabyte. Didn't have a hard drive in it though, so I put a 61.4 gigabyte in it. And most 61.4 gigabyte hard drives are really old and crappy, but this one's from late 2004, so it's about as old as the computer is. And it's 7200 RPM, so it's a lot faster than a lot of the other hard drives I use. It's got 2 drives in a DVD-ROM and a CD rewritable and a floppy drive, none of which are seized up, thankfully, and it runs absolutely fine. I just finished installing Windows on it. I just have to see what driver software I need for it. But this is the first time in a very long time I've actually set up a computer. I've been focusing more on getting rid of my computers than I have been on selling them, and my supply has been going down, as I've discussed previously. So let's see. Components. Problem devices. Ethernet audio and video, the basic 3 drivers are needed. Okay, well I'll work on this later. Although the one problem is that Windows Update is getting pretty crummy. It support's ending completely for Windows XP in 3 months. I think Microsoft will keep their old updates on their site, but the update site is pretty much non-functional anymore, off and on, so I might have a very hard time updating this thing. But yesterday I acquired a Dell XPS laptop over here. Specifically, it is it's a Dell XPS. It's from late 2007, model number, let me see, one second, M1530. I don't know if it works yet, the battery's dead, and the hard drive had a hole drilled through it. Parts of the platter were shattered, and they were clinking all over the place. But it looks like a pretty good laptop, although I have no idea if it works. It's got, excuse me, I believe it has a 2.53 gigahertz Core 2 Duo in it, 4 gigabytes of DDR2 memory. I think it might be, it's either 667 or 800 megahertz. The hard drive was 250 gigabyte, I believe, but I can replace it with another hard drive. But I do not have a power supply for it. It takes a 19.5 volt power supply of a fairly large type, which I do not have any of. I have tons of power supplies, but only a few of them are 19.5 volt, and of those few, none of them are the right connector size. So I found one on eBay I can buy for $10, so I'll just buy the adapter for $10 and test it out then. Worst case scenario is I buy the charger for $10, find out the computer doesn't work, but then I sell it for parts for like $50, because this thing's pretty valuable. So that was nice. First to find it in a very long time. I also found something else yesterday. It was a Dell Dimension 2100, but it's not really worth mentioning. It's still in the car. I haven't brought it out here yet, but it's a little old Dell with a 1 gigahertz Celeron. Actually, 1.1 gigahertz Celeron, like a stick of sync memory and a 20 gig hard drive, which I'm going to scrap. So yeah, there's that. Speaking of scrapping, though, I've been running through and getting rid of some of the computers I previously set up, such as this Dell, let's see, it's an Optiplex GX240. It has sync memory, like a 20 gig hard drive, like 1.8 Pentium 4, so I just scrapped most of the parts in it. I kept the 1.8 gigahertz Pentium 4, I really don't know why I did that. But yeah, there's that. I had it all set up and stuff, had it all updated and everything. I probably set up a little over a year ago. I don't know why I even had it set up. I should have realized in the first place if it wasn't worth anything, and I shouldn't set it up. But I wasted probably an hour or two setting that thing up in the past. But here's a Dell Optiplex GX140, I believe, GX150 actually. Now this thing is old as all heck. It's got a 1.0 gigahertz Intel Celeron. I put 512 megs, actually 34 megs of sync memory in it. No video card, though it does have integrated, of course, and it's all set up. It's got 20 or 30 gig hard drive in it. And I was like, why in hell did I set this thing up? It's a piece of junk. But I looked online, and on eBay, one of these things sold recently for $100. I have no idea why. And there are a bunch of other listings that would compete with mine for hundreds of dollars, and some of them are selling for like 30 or 40 bucks. So I'm like, hey, you know, might as well sell it. I mean, if people are buying it for that much, I might as well sell it for a little bit. I mean, if I could sell this for $100, I wouldn't, because regardless of whether or not the person who would be buying it would realize it or not, it's a rip-off to sell this thing for $100. So, you know, if I can sell it for 30 bucks or so, sure, why not? So I was a bit surprised when I saw how much it sold for. And this isn't something I got. This is a Cooler Master Elite 430 case I bought in December of 2012, so a little over a year ago. I bought it for, I bought it to put a PC in that I've been working on, or I had worked on. A PC that had a motherboard in it. I tossed it down there. I'll explain in a moment. But it had the 3.16 gigahertz Core 2 Duo that was originally in my 2009 gaming PC over there. But I've since upgraded that thing to a Intel Core 2 Quad Q. It's either an 8 or 9000 series anyway. But yeah, the Core 2 Duo. I had 4 gigs of DDR2 memory in it. Still has a 320 gig hard drive in it, I think. I think it's 250. And DVD reliable drive and all that stuff. And plus, it also had my MSI GeForce GTX 560 I bought quite some time ago in it. I bought 2 of these cards in total. One of them I bought in like January of 2012. The other one I bought in like June of 2012. But yeah, I had that in there. It was running pretty well for a while. My friend really liked it since I gave it to him, since I had no use for it myself. I used to have it in my room for a while, but since I got my new Lenovo laptop, you know, it's really not worth it to me anymore. So I gave it to my friend, but he said that it was crashing a few times and altogether just stopped working. So one day I went to turn it on, it just didn't work. So I took a look at it, and it was refusing to turn on. The motherboard simply wasn't doing anything. I went ahead and I plugged a different power supply into the motherboard, and it powered on, I think, if I remember correctly, but it didn't do anything, didn't give any video output, didn't give any beeps or anything. But I just kind of let it sit around for a week or two, and I went back to it today, and I found that the power supply is actually dead. It doesn't do anything, it doesn't turn on. I took my power supply, tested it out, and it just crapped out completely. It didn't even turn on at all. So it was a 480 watt power supply, which is dead, and the motherboard's also dead. It doesn't even turn on anymore. So I'm thinking that the power supply went bad, and in turn fried the motherboard as well. So that's not fun. Although I looked online with him one day about a week ago, and he said that he'd be willing to pay about $60 for a new motherboard for this thing. I found some online for about that price that actually support DDR3 memory, which I do have some spare of. So he'll give me $60. I'll put that $60 towards buying a motherboard. I'll pop it in this thing, put some DDR3 memory in it. Same Core 2 Duo probably, and the GTX 560, but it'll be a little bit of an upgrade and a repair. But I also need a new power supply for it, because I'm dry on power supplies pretty much. I have some 400 watts, but 400 watts is not enough to cut it. So I'll probably have to buy a 500 or 600 watt for maybe 30 or 40 bucks at the very least. So yeah. So I might need to ask $100 from him to fix it up, or I might put some of my own money towards it and sell it one day. I really don't know. So that's that. Now, what else do I have here? Let's see. I got all these desktops sitting around, as they have been for months. A lot of them aren't worth much though, like this Dell Dimension 3100, also known as an E310. Has a CPU, probably has a 2.8 in it. I didn't label it though. It doesn't have any memory or hard drive in it, but it's just not really worth anything, so it's kind of been sitting around. That case is empty. I forget what kind of Dell this is. I should probably check it out. Oh, yeah, probably should. A couple GX280s. Not worth much though. Both have 2.8 GHz Pentium 4s, but they really don't sell for much. Oh, here's something I should set up. Custom PC with 2.8 GHz Pentium 4. It just needs a hard drive. It can take IDE, so I was looking today and I found that I did have some spare IDE hard drives. One's 160 gigabytes, so I'll probably pop it in that and set it up at some point. But I got all these things. I think this is a Dell Dimension 3000. I was having a problem a while ago. I never really got around to troubleshooting, so I just tossed it over here. Gateway E4300 that I took most of the parts out of. This is a Power Mac G5 A1047 I got quite some time ago. So I'm feeling a bit sick anyway. But it needs fan. I talked about this a while ago. I think in one of the past videos. It needs fan calibration. So when you turn it on, the fans go on 100%. It's really loud, and the CMOS doesn't seem to want to remember the wireless networks or anything. I think the date and time is always going off. So I don't really know what's wrong with that. But yeah. So I think that's almost it for out here. I really have to talk about. I just spent 11 minutes going on about this stuff. Perhaps a bit too in depth. But yeah. About 4 weeks ago, I sold all my scrap again. I only got about 250. No, I got 220 bucks out of it. I had 2 full boxes of power supplies. I thought I only one. I had 2 full boxes of motherboards. This box size, both full with motherboards. Box full of power supplies, like I just said. One of these things was about halfway filled up with PCI boards. Another one of these things filled with drives. And I got about 220 bucks for it because scrap prices have been falling, unfortunately. But I'm building up a little bit of scrap again, but I don't think I'm going to really have enough to sell anytime near now, I mean. I've got about 3-4 motherboards in there, a few power supplies. I went through and got rid of a bunch of my Pentium 4s. All these are 1.7, 1.8 gigahertz and under, because I decided finally that I really don't need them. So yeah, there's that. Oh, I forgot to mention, in that 4600 I was given, it had this video card in it. It's a TI Radeon HT3650. It's a 512 megabyte video card, DDR2, or GDDR2 rather. So should work. I don't know what I'll do with it. Maybe I'll sell it for 10 to 15 bucks if I can get that much out of it. Maybe I'll just put it in a computer that I'm going to sell. I really don't know. But that's pretty much it for out here, though. I do have some stuff to mention as to what I'm going to be selling. Because I have a couple items inside I'm going to sell, as well as that NVIDIA GeForce GTX 780 I bought from EVGA a couple months back for $535. I'm going to talk about how that's going, or rather how it's not going. But that's pretty much it for out here. I guess I might as well put a little bit of mention towards over here. My 2009 PC is still working pretty well, but usually I'll take my laptop out here and use it with my TV. And play some games through that. I was playing Grid 2 a while ago, until I finished it with an Xbox controller through my laptop and on the TV. But I really never used my 2009 gaming PC anymore. And again, I've talked about this many times, but this thing's been upgraded. It used to have a 3.16 gigahertz Core 2 Duo, but I put a 2.83 Core 2 Quad in it, and overclocked it to 3.2 gigahertz. And it's still running the 4 gigs of DDR3 1066 megahertz memory. Again, it's at 1066 because of stability issues, and has a GTX 560 in it, so, you know, it's not too bad. I mean, it can surely run like TF2 and stuff, but it's not really the type of computer I want to run like Assassin's Creed 4 or anything on. But I very, very rarely use this thing. My friends use it if they want to show me like a YouTube video or something through the TV or whatever else, but usually I'd set my laptop up here and use that through the TV if I want to do any gaming through the TV. Got my little Xbox 360. Still, my brother was designing something very cool. These are lights that flash to music. I think I might be able to do a demonstration for you right now, but he's designing it, and it's going to be the plan is that there's going to be a set of lights that flash at the base of the music behind the TV, and a set of lights right there, and a set of lights right there that flash to the left and right treble, and it's gonna be really cool. We're probably gonna have some cool parties out here with loud music and lights and stuff. But yeah, that's going to be it for out here. I'll go inside and talk about the other interesting-ish things I have to talk about. Okay, so this is what I'm selling. This is an Asus laptop that my brother and I found a couple years back. I don't know how I remember the model number, but the model number is X83VB-X2. It's a pretty good laptop. It's from 2008, and that was a pretty good find when we originally found it. It originally had a 2.13 gigahertz Core 2 Duo, but we upgraded that to a 2.53. Has 4 gigs of DDR2 800 megahertz memory and an NVIDIA GeForce 9300 GMGS or 9300 MGS 512 megabyte video card, which is pretty good. And I used to use this as my primary laptop till my Lenovo came along. It's under here, but it was never really that good for gaming. Even though the video card's 512 megabyte, I think it's a very low bit interface, and it is a laptop card, so it's not that great. But I am selling it. I pulled the hard drive out. It's going to sell it, bare bones really. Although on the keyboard, the bottom right key is missing. I think only the side key over here works. You can't see it in this light, but there's a ton of scratches all over the front of it. But I can maybe squeeze at least $80 out of it. This is another motherboard that was sitting at my work area. I decided I might as well sell. One problem with these things though is that the little solder joints in the back stick through the packaging. I really should probably double package this thing just to get around that. But this is a motherboard from some Dell computer. It takes Core 2 Duos, Pentium dual cores, and Core 2 quads, DDR2 memory, PCI Express by 16 slot, not 2.0. I figured I'm going to make $40 off it, so I'm going to list that tonight as well. And this is my NVIDIA EVGA GeForce GTX 780 I bought a while ago. Unfortunately, it hasn't been working out. I tried popping it in my computer. Let me see, I bought it on like November 29th, and it's like January 26th or 7th today, so it's been about 2 months since I bought it. And originally when I first tried it, it was crashing all the damn time, and I was wondering what the heck was going on. So I updated my driver software and all that, and it's still crashing, so I tried the beta driver versions and it was still crashing. So I popped my old 680 back in, ran absolutely flawlessly. I waited till new drivers were released about 2 weeks ago, so early mid-January this year, and still crashes. So my 680 has been working fine, but this thing, no matter what driver I seem to use, just keeps crashing and crashing and crashing. So I submitted a RMA ticket today, which they thankfully accepted pretty promptly. So I'm going to send this back to EVGA. I just hope that doesn't get damaged or lost in shipping. I'll insure it if I can, but this is a package that's going to be worth $535. So yeah, I mean, overall I lose a lot of time and like $10-15 on the shipping cost. But now that I really think about it, I don't really think I need a 780. It's cool to have, but my 680 runs everything pretty much fine. I mean, one of the reasons I bought the 780 was so that I could run Skyrim, like tons of mods and like maxed out settings and stuff, but it's really not worth it. It's too much money, although I originally was planning on selling my 680, which would bring the net cost of this card down to about $300, because I would buy this for like $535 and sell the 680 for like $250. So that was my plan, but I guess let's keep 680 for now. And also, since I worked last summer as an internship, I'm going to be getting tax returns pretty soon, so that's nice. It really has nothing to do with my business. I just realized that, so never mind. But yeah, things might be going downhill for me currently right now though with my business. But while I'm in college, I'm part of a Bring Your Own Business scholarship at Champlain, which I am going to. And the idea is that they give you a space to run your business and everything. And so maybe in a year or so, or 7 months when I go off to college, my YouTube channel might explode here, so I might have actually stuff to talk about, since I'll be in Burlington, Vermont. And who knows, maybe there's tons of business there. Maybe there's a lot of people who can help me out, a lot of people I can work with, and my business might grow immensely when I'm in college. But maybe not, so I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens. But that's all for now, and I fear this might be my last video for weeks and weeks. I really doubt I'm going to be getting anything useful lately, or soon. But anyway, that is all. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, which hopefully won't be too far in the future.